Hey everyone, happy Friday. Today is our weekly sketching session and we are going to be working on side profiles in the month of May. Now, some of you might already have this Happy Friendship booklet and we're going to put this aside for a while and we will come back to it. But I really wanted to spend the month of May practicing side profiles, mapping them out and sketching them loosely and just becoming comfortable with mapping out the side profile face. I have two images that we're going to be using to practice today. We have this one and we have this one. I'm going to include the link in the description of this video so you can access these links. And if you want, you can either print it out to follow along or just bring it up on your computer and follow along. But it's from a website called pexels.com, which offers free, copyright-free images that you can use. So we're going to be using these to practice our sketching and drawing and mapping out the face. And that's what we're going to be spending the month of May doing every Friday. Today is mainly going to be mapping and sketching out the face, and then as we progress every week, we're going to be working on shading, coloring, and just becoming comfortable with a 3/4 and a side profile. So I'm going to flip the camera around and I hope you join me. Okay, so we want to think of the face as simple shapes. So for this side profile, you want to draw a circle. This is just another way of thinking about it. Okay, and then we're going to divide that in half like this and divide it in half again, just general lines, right? And we're going to just draw a straight line down like this and an angle like this, okay? We're going to draw. This is just a generalized shape of a head, okay? And this is kind of what that woman's face looks like. We want to extend it a bit, okay? But we've got a straight line there. Her nose is going to come out here. And so we're just going to draw a triangle for now for where her nose comes out. We're just mapping out a face and her lips will come here, okay? We're going to draw up. Something like that, right? And she has kind of a smile on her face, the lady does. And get the chin in a little bit. Now we can make adjustments, but this is overall the side profile. We do want to add her eyes in, and so we're going to think of something like this for her eyes. Okay, it's going to come in close to the nose because her nose comes up, and then she's got her forehead there. But we're going to come in and we're going to draw that little triangle that I mapped out here. This maybe a little bit like that. She also has a little line for her eyelids, and her eyebrows come right about here, okay? Right over that where her eyelashes are coming out. And her eyebrows we're just mapping in the line right now, okay? There we go. And her other eyebrow is kind of peeking through, and so is the eyelash. We've got her nose mapped in, but we can make adjustments as we go. I like to add that nostril in there. But you can see how we can easily map out the face and then apply it to this woman's face. I'm going to keep going with her chin. Comes down like that, and then like at an angle, and she's got a bit of like the shadow where her neck is, and we're bringing it in, and then we're bringing it out like that, okay? Now her hair takes up quite a bit of space. And if we want to draw the shape, it comes out like this. Notice how loosely I'm holding my pen. And then she's got like this straight. And I'm just drawing the bangs in because they come kind of right up to about here. Like that. She's got very straight bangs. And her ear, if we map in that ear, it's probably right around here. And you know that the top of the ear is here and the bottom of the ear is the bottom of the nose, okay? So now her hair comes way out. I really want to get this right. Kind of comes like a triangle, really. Right down. It curves right down almost to her, over her neck and her jaw. And we're just going to bring it in like this. And then she's got this collar, so we're just going to do that. There we go. And her shoulder kind of goes like that. Now I'm just going to leave it like that for now. We've mapped this in. The bottom of her ear is here. And she's got an earring on, but I'm not going to get into the details. It's really more about mapping out that side profile. And then I'm just putting like her pupil in there. And that's just a general side profile for this lady. Expect that every time you practice, it's not going to look like the woman we're drawing, simply because being new to drawing a side profile, the key is really to understand the placement and how to map in the nose, lips, and eyes, and then trying to get the overall shape right. Let's practice this one more time, this side profile for this woman, and see if we can do it with a little more ease than what we did before, okay? Okay, so we're going to give this face a try one more time, this woman. And again, we are going to map in her head, which is a circle. Okay, we want to draw a circle for her head, and then we're going to divide it like this, okay? We're going to bring a general, like a line down here. You can make it like this, like just general line. And then we're going to come down a little bit because her jawline is coming, is coming down a little bit. And I'm just generally mapping it in because it kind of comes like this, just the way her neck is, okay? And then the neck comes down like this. She's kind of looking to the side. We're just generally mapping it in. We know that her forehead comes up a bit, and we're going to draw her nose. So her nose, like we know that forehead, there's a little bit where her nose curves in, and then she's got the forehead up here like that. Now we're going to draw a triangle for her nose. We're not too worried about the shape of her nose because we're just mapping it in, okay? We're drawing a triangle for her nose. I'm getting the nostril in there, and that's just the triangle for her nose. And if we look at where her lips come in, it's from that center, like just before that nostril, there's like that little dip, and we're gonna draw in her mouth, which is going to be something like that. Okay, and she's kind of smiling, so we're going to bring it in a bit because she's kind of got a smile. And then I'm just adding a little bottom lip. That lip comes down a bit. Okay, you're just doing your best and having fun and not worried about all the details. Okay, so we've mapped that in. We know that her lip has a little line that goes down and then another line where it comes back. She's got a round profile there. There we go. Okay, so we've mapped that in a bit. I'm going to move this in. There we go. So we can see where everything is, And she even has like a little, like this, where her nose is, like, there we go. That little part of her nose, right? So we've got that in a bit more. And we know that if we look where her eye is like that triangle, right? But we want to get it in the right place, which is just above this part of her nose and back a bit because there's a little bit of space there. So I'm going back a bit, just above her nose. It comes like back a bit. And I'm trying to draw like, it's not wide open. It's not wide open, so that looks okay. She's got like the eyelid. So I just bring the eyelid up a bit like that. And then she's got her eyebrows. It kind of comes down a bit. And she's got thick eyebrows, so I'm just putting in her eyebrows. And then it comes to the end of the eye. Like that. And a little tiny bit of her other eyebrow peeks through, as does her eyelash. So I'm just doing that. And we can worry about the details of the eyelashes and stuff another time. The other thing I like about her face is she has a sort of shadow right here. Okay, you could see that. And then you could see just like a little line for where her eye is looking out. So we've got that mapped in. The next part is her ear and her hair. So I kind of, where I drew her jawline up is where her ear is. So maybe I'll just draw like a line for her ear. And the top of her ear is usually right where this corner of the eye is, right? And the bottom is usually at the bottom of the nose. But we can't see her ear anyway. We can't see it. We can see just a touch of it, and her hair comes down past that. Now, getting her hair right, she's got a little bit of hair coming around her ear there, and her bangs come right to the end of this eyebrow. You could see almost like she's got these really like sharp, blunt bangs. I'm not really too worried about getting her hair perfectly right, but I kind of feel like let's try to map in her bangs a bit. Okay, we've got her at the top of her bangs. And then you notice with her hair, it's almost like she's got a lot of hair. Okay, then we notice right the back of her head here. Her hair again is like almost like a triangle. I might have that too, like a triangle like that. And then it covers her ears, like it comes down like this. And then we've got this part here, and that comes up, and then she's got it just kind of helps you map in her her shirt. And I really try hard to think of things as shapes versus trying to draw exactly what I'm seeing. I'm just trying to think in shapes. So I feel like we did a pretty good job getting this lady mapped out, but this is what she looks like. And we're not going to worry about a lot of shading because right now we really wanted to focus on getting her face in. So we had 2 practice sessions with this woman's side profile. So this was the first one, which I think turned out pretty good. And this was the second one. Okay. Those are the 2 profiles. And next is the bigger profile photo that we're going to do. which is this one, and we're going to get started mapping this one out. This is the next face that we want to try to draw, and I'm just going to keep it here so we can give it some practice. I want us again to just have a look at this face in general, the shapes. I'm not going to draw the whole thing, right? But I really want us to look at this face and the shapes of it, okay? If we were to draw, I'm gonna use this pen. Okay, so we are going to try to just loosely and freehand draw this based on measuring, okay? We're just going to draw this part of her forehead, that's her hair, and we could see from this part of her hair, it comes down a bit. If you try to just look at it like a shape, we could see a circle, right? We could see a circle here. And then we could see that line, hold on, bring this, that line where her jaw might be, right here. We know that the circle is kind of, because her eye is peeking out, right? That circle comes like this. And then part of her face kind of peeks out here. And all I'm trying to do is look at shapes. So you could see the line, and then you could see it sort of comes out a bit like this. And once we map in her features here, like her nose, and I'm holding my pen really loose, we can kind of map in her mouth. It comes from the, like that nostril here. We can do a little, kind of comes up like this. I'm just trying to draw the shapes that I see, right? There's a little divot there. Let's see if I have that right. It's kind of good to stand back sometimes, but when I'm drawing and doing videos, it can be a bit of a challenge. And now I'm just generally shading things in. I know that her forehead comes down, and I know that her eye comes out here. You can kind of see a little bit, but not a whole lot. You can see mainly her eyelashes. Okay, and I'm going to leave that the way it is. Okay, I'm not showing her full eye. You have to take some artistic license with it. Okay, now I feel like her forehead is bigger, right? It comes from here, and her forehead is bigger. Okay, we'll leave it like that. And her ear would kind of come back here where her neck is. So I'm going to just map in an ear. I'm not even thinking too much about it. I'm not trying to do the perfect shapes. I'm just trying to map it in to the best of my abilities and take some artistic license with it, because that's okay. You got to discover your own style. So that's what I'm kind of doing here. And then the hard part is this part right here. I'm just going to do like a circle here, because we've got her cheekbone coming up right in here, and then her eye is somewhere like right here. And I could see, if I look at space there, there's a little bit of space where her eyebrow comes up. And there's a fair amount of space to where her eyebrow ends. Okay, just kind of measuring it a little bit like this. And then her eye is almost a triangle. I Kind of want to get that right, but it's going to be a challenge. Let's see. I'm trying to do this really loosely because I could see that there's almost a, okay, I'm trying to, and when I am sort of not sure about the eye, I just kind of move on to other things, like maybe where her cheek is. And I know that there's like a shadow here. Because sometimes it's not about perfection, right? You want to get your own style in. So I'm avoiding doing the eye, but we're going to do it now. I'm actually just taking artistic license with the eyelashes, but we can tell that the eye is like that. And I don't think this is too bad. When I'm drawing faces, I'm not trying to draw exactly what I see. I just like to have it to map out the proportions and see if I can get it in and then create my own faces from there. So I would probably do something like add some more hair there. I would probably put an outfit on her. And the thing I want to say is that it does bring it all together when you add your own touch to it. So if I take this away and I just focus on my face now, I feel like it looks really good. I'm not trying to draw exactly what I see. I do like having a face to sort of give me an idea on how to map in the features and where the eyes and nose go. But I personally don't want to draw exactly a replica of the face that I'm looking at. I feel pretty happy with the way this looks, and I would probably play with it a lot more, add some oil pastels or paint to it and just bring it to life. But I hope you guys enjoyed this drawing session on how to do side profiles. I hope it helps. I'd love to hear from you guys if you gave it a try and how it went for you. Just leave a comment below on how it went. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Friday, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.